All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we had some software issues with Snake Pass, but it's been resolved. Flotsa basically did down patch %, and he succeeded his run, and will be able to proceed with the main event. The main event, which is Snake Pass, any % New Game Plus on PC. So without further ado, I'm just getting it away to you, Flotsa, so we can proceed. And good luck, man.
Cool, thanks. So I'm gonna count down from 3, and we're just gonna start right away, and then I'll get to talking. So 3, 2, 1, go. So the category is called New Game Plus, any %, but really it should just be called any %, but we're using time trial mode instead of the regular mode because the regular mode has cutscenes and cutscenes are slow. I'm running on the down patch version of the game because they basically left this thing in where instead of needing to move the snake like a snake, you can just move in a straight line and be faster than moving like a snake. Kind of a big oversight. You let go of your tail while falling because it's faster, and basically the goal of each level in the game is to collect these things called gate stones. That's the red gate stone, but I'm going to be calling it the red gem for the purposes of the run. And then head to the portal at the end of the level, at which you can just kind of do this and be taken to this end of level screen. The in-game timer is also totally inaccurate for some reason. Just another small oversight, but not too big of a deal. It was patched in the updated version of the game. Yeah, not too much going on yet. The first few levels are pretty self-explanatory. You're just kind of going around, kind of skipping the stuff that doesn't need to be done, climbing stuff that needs to be climbed, grabbing all the gems to get to the end of the level. Oh, that's bad. So sometimes it is still faster to use normal snake movement because the bird, whose name is Doodle, is busy collecting a gem for you. So while he's doing that, you can't use him to lift your tail. Yellow gems also have a weird hitbox, so sometimes you can like be inside them and not collect the gem. So the first kind of trick in the run, I'm going to explain here in a second. But basically, if you wedge Noodle, which is the name of the snake, between a corner that has certain properties, you'll get kind of boosted up, and it's quicker than climbing bamboo. Another thing to note is that you move faster while touching bamboo, and yet it was... Oh, come on. And yet it was still faster to just use the corner there. So there I bonked on a rock that didn't have that special property, so I was moving pretty slow. And there I just missed getting up. This strat's kind of risky because you don't have bamboo to help yourself up. Another thing is whenever you're touching wood, you move much faster than normal, and the camera can sometimes mess you up here really bad. Another thing to note is after you've collected all of the gems, the rest of the level is kind of an auto-scroller for some levels where the exit is close to the final gem because it takes a set amount of time to open up. Like I said, not much going on in these first few levels. Just kind of doing most of the levels normally, collecting all the gems. Some of them have changed over time, like the order which we get the gems in, because some very slightly faster strat was found. Here I'm going to do another corner wall climb. It's also slightly faster to have more kind of bends in your body whenever possible, because you move faster. Very slightly. So more bends equals better, as a general rule, but not always. Here I'm going to do another corner wall climb, because it's way faster than doing the normal way. And here's a really crazy corner wall climb that's even faster because the wall is angled slightly. And that skips having to do a climb on the end of this wall, come back, and then backtrack all the way over here. Here we're going to skip a really long bamboo climbing section just by kind of coiling and throwing myself at this wall. And it just lets you kind of get up after a while. That's the last gem on this level, so we can head back to this archway. And then just jump towards the exit. Well, I say jump, but there's obviously no jumping in this game. You kind of just fling yourself off of ledges. Another thing, this game, the soundtrack was made by David Wise, and it's pretty great. So that was the Earth world, the first world, Boulder's realm, and now we're in Soggy's realm, which is the water world. And this first section here, you're intended to go underwater, go through a tunnel, and then do some platforming in a room under, not underwater, but semi-underwater to grab a gem after flipping a switch. But we found out that you could just climb this and then kind of throw yourself onto this piece here, right by the end of the level. And then if you let your tail slip through this grate over here, which is only there so that the light shines through at the gem, and then get the bird to go pick up your tail, it'll pick up the gem. This next piece coming up here is a small optimization that was found kind of recently. I say kind of because it was still many months ago, but it's one of the newest things to the run, is that you don't have to go all the way on top of that piece there. You can just kind of go around the side. These things that are shaped like triangles and have snakes on them are, or one snake on them, are checkpoints. And you're going to see me abuse that a little bit later in the run for a level right by the end of the game. Here I'm trying to position myself on this rock just right so that I can kind of get up here. Nice. Alright, that was kind of slow, but it's fine. Here I want to try and not bonk that rock on the corner because it's not one of those rocks with a special property that makes you move fast. It makes you move slow. So this is the first level in the game with a really, really big skip. You could even argue there's like 3 really big skips, but there's one that's like really very obviously huge. So first we're going to come up and just basically do this first part the same way as intended by going up to the green gem. And then after that, I'm just going to kind of jump off the side of the level and skip like a good minute of platforming. I'm gonna just grab this checkpoint for safety, and now I should just be able to do this. Nice. So normally you're supposed to do this ball puzzle maze thing where you push a ball into that hole, but we're just gonna skip it by doing another trick, first time in the run, called a bird coil, where you can just climb up any piece of roughly vertical bamboo by coiling around it several times and getting the bird to carry your tail. I'm gonna just grab this checkpoint for safety because those are spikes and spikes kill you. So that's red gem. Like I said earlier, slides move you kind of fast, so I'm gonna try and get a very small boost off of this piece here. Yeah, that was decent. So here there's a tiny rock on the left here. I'm gonna try and not bonk it. Yeah. Here's a slanted wall that I can just kind of climb up. And the rest of this level isn't that big of a deal. You just kind of do it the same way as casually, but faster. There's a cycle skip you can get here, but I kind of made it on a weird cycle, and my body was kind of not in the right positioning to be able to do it. Okay, so this is Risky Reservoir, and it's the first level in the game with a really, really hard skip, because it saves a lot of time, but if you fail it, you lose all the time. It's called a Risky Reservoir skip, kind of, you know, self-explanatorily. Basically, it's just a really big jump to cross over a big gap to skip hitting a bunch of switches and swimming underwater and generally doing a bunch of slow stuff. But first, we're going to collect this green gem because it's right by the start of the level, and we don't really backtrack to here at all. So next up is the red gem, and it's just right up on top of this platform. So water, you actually move slightly faster in water, but only if you are coming in not extremely fast initially. Otherwise, you'll get kind of dunked underwater for a little bit, and that's slightly slower, but you still end up moving faster in the end. So normally you're supposed to climb the box over to my left, but you can just do a bird coil on this thing, and it's kind of hard, not really that difficult. So checkpoints work really strangely in this game. If you hit them before you wait for that kind of notification to pop up that you've got the gem kind of in your inventory. Okay, first try. It'll kind of save that you didn't have it when you hit the checkpoint, even though you did. I gotta wait for the cycle. And that's really bad, because then you'll have to redo getting whatever gem you got. And there's several points in the run where that could be a factor. And it kind of sucks when it happens, when you hit a checkpoint too early because you weren't going for safety. This could be bad. Okay, it's fine. So we got all the gate stones. We're going to head to the end of the level. The next level is completely uninteresting, so if you have donations that need to be read, I would say it's a good time.
Can I just say that I doubt that snakes are this chill in real life? That's a really relaxed snake right there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is this game more rage-inducing, or...?
Oh, it's, I would say once you get used to the controls, it's pretty good for being non-rage-inducing. But definitely, until then, it can be pretty frustrating to control. So here we're watching
you would say
for
it's
rolling
more
rocks.
of a relaxing experience rather than once you get used to the controls themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything about the game is pretty relaxing once you've gotten the hang of the way that you control Noodle here.
Yeah, we're actually discussing it in the backstage area right now, and we're like, we gotta try this game. This looks good.
It is good. It's pretty short though. Nice, okay. So there you can skip having to wait on the second roller. Might be dead here? No, I'm good. It's actually possible to soft lock anywhere there's like a moving platform that has the potential to get your sail stuck in it. And it's happened to me once in a later level when I was on PB pace, and I was really sad. Oh, come on. See what I mean about yellow gems? They can be sometimes really finicky with their hitboxes. Here there's another water puzzle that you're supposed to do, but you can just kind of do that and skip it. So that's it for the water levels. Now we're on to the fire levels. This level changed a lot over the course of Snake Pass history. We originally had to open up this switch that's directly in front of me, kind of like a rotary thing, and open up a bridge, and then basically do everything else as intended. But one day I figured out that this was possible, and you don't have to do that anymore, and that's pretty fast. Just gonna go for extra height there for a little safety. Here we're gonna try and tackle this switch so that it activates fully without having to coil around it, and I didn't get it. It's possible to skip having to open that switch, but you'll still have to open it later. Because, I don't know, weird stuff happens when the game... Oh, by the way, this section is being done completely backwards right now because of that skip that I did at the start of the level. You're supposed to be coming in from that side over there where that slide is. I'm going the wrong way around this switch. So, for some reason, all the switches in this game are like oriented in different ways. Some of them are clockwise, some of them are counterclockwise. So we're dropping this ball over here because it activates a switch to bring up a ladder that allows us to get a gem on the way back. There it is. See if I can make it on top of this slide. Didn't get it. Okay. No big deal. Just gonna have to climb back up and try again. You'll see me doing this a lot, coiling to gain extra height. Alright, second try. So that's a part of the level that we skip entirely because it's slow. Here I'm going to be climbing on top of where that ball spawned. And then using the bamboo up here to slide all the way back down because it's ever so slightly faster than going back the normal way. Because whenever you're touching bamboo, you're moving faster. Here you could do a bird coil, but I think it's way faster to not do a bird coil. Here's another minor optimization that was found not too long ago. Ends up being about a second faster than climbing up the normal way. Basically, there's a switch back there that brings this piece of, I don't know, pillar up to a place where you can access it from later on in the level. But if you just kind of do that, you can abuse corners once again to inch yourself up here, and it ends up being just slightly faster than going up and doing a much riskier strat to kind of launch yourself into the same corner but from above. So this is Toasty Trail. Not really that interesting of a level. It's kind of difficult. Well, it's not really that difficult, but I mean, honestly, nothing in this game is too terribly difficult for the speedrun, except for a couple of the bigger skips. This is another kind of big skip. Just gonna get some height and then launch myself. Okay, so I might be able to save myself here because this wall is angled. Yeah, okay, good. Kind of put me on a bad cycle for the rest of this, though. Another small thing that was found recently. Normally you're supposed to go up there on those pieces of bamboo on the left, and then come back down on this section after you've gotten the gem. But someone found out that you can just do a little bit of coiling near this corner and get up this way, and it's much, much faster. Also here you're supposed to use that rotating piece of bamboo to get across, but you can just kind of do that. Hopefully I don't get my tail stuck in there. Okay, good. Oh no, I'm getting cooked. Thankfully the game is pretty lenient about cooking yourself. Alright, and that's Toasty Trail. This level has a couple of interesting skips. One much bigger than the other. This first part you can just kind of skip entirely by going on the side again. And then for this part you can skip that whole section entirely by just doing a coil. And because this piece of wall is angled, well, I mean, you can just get across normally, but... Uh-oh. This is another section where getting the checkpoint here can destroy you, so I'm not going to go for that, because if it came up there and I got wrecked, I'd be in real bad shape. I'd have spawned all the way back here without having the green gem, and I'd have to redo that kind of maneuver. So here we're going to do a bird coil. This is probably the bird coil that saves the most time in the game, I want to say. Maybe not, actually. Still, definitely saves a lot of backtracking and climbing. Okay, so here you're supposed to do like a 3-part ball puzzle where you like launch some stuff into some stuff and then launch some other stuff into some other stuff and hit a bunch of levers and stuff. But if you just climb on top of this pillar, you can just kind of jump onto the pillar that the gem is supposed to come down from and then go straight into the portal. This last level doesn't really have anything, or not the last level. The last level of Fire World doesn't really have too much interesting stuff going on. I'm gonna try for another tackle on this switch to try and get it as fast as possible. Didn't get it. There we go. Here I'm going to try and skip these pillars by getting onto the closest one. That's pretty good. Now it's really important I don't die getting the yellow gem, because that checkpoint that I just hit like 10 seconds ago is the last checkpoint that I'm going to get until I'm done with the yellow gem. Here it's important that you don't jump into the water, because otherwise you'll dunk and you'll be forced to move a lot slower, because you won't be able to have the bird carry your tail. he won't go fetch it if you're underwater. Here we're going to do another corner wall climb to get up instead of taking these really slow stairs that have the annoying property of slowing you down. And normally you're supposed to kind of rotate these pillars using those switches to get them into a more favorable position, but we're not going to do that. Here you could do a corner wall climb there, but it's not much faster, and by that I mean it's pretty much exactly the same time, and it's way riskier because if you fail it, you die. And remember what I said about that checkpoint earlier? Yeah, it's pretty risky. Here I'm going to wait for the bird to be mostly finished. And here normally you're supposed to climb a bunch of stairs, but someone found out that you can just kind of go up the back side of this thing to get up to the trigger that you're supposed to use to hit the green switch. I mean, to get to the green gem. There's also a chance that I can soft lock the game on this level, and I'd have to restart the level from the very beginning. If that happens, I'm just gonna say, you know, I tried, and skip it because it's like 4 minutes. So what can happen is these stones can fall, but then once you get down there, they might kind of touch you in a weird way, and then they like spaz out and trap your tail, and you can't move. Okay, that was weird. He took a really long time to grab the gem there. Slightly faster way of getting up here to the portal than taking the left or right side. Okay, and now we're on to the last set of levels, which are the air levels. This first one isn't too bad. There's a couple of cycles that you can make to speed it up by quite a bit, as well as one really risky fall that you can do. I'm going to do the much safer version of the fall strat, but it's probably going to cause me to miss the cycle that I'm looking for. So hitting that green gem is what causes this pillar to come down. Yeah, see, I didn't make the cycle, unfortunately. I can still try and cut off one cycle by going fast, but I didn't get it. And missing that cycle forces you to miss that cycle as well, so it's pretty bad if you miss it. The IL world record has both, and it's very fast. So here they are introducing air physics and these platforms where the bird will take you across if you tell it to lift you up at certain points. And that's going to be really important for the next level coming up, because I discovered a setup to abuse those wooden platforms in a really interesting way, and it took like months of theory crafting to figure out a way to make a certain skip possible that would save like 3+ minutes. This is bad. I might be dead. That's fine, there's a checkpoint. So you can kind of, are you gonna grab my tail, please? Thank you. You can kind of skip having to navigate through these poles if you play correctly, but I didn't play correctly there, so I'm gonna just play it safe there. So the story of the game is that there's some menacing force stealing the gate stones to try and get back to its home, and in the process, it scatters them across all of these realms and makes it a general pain for the denizens of these worlds to get around. So this is Hurricane Heights, which is a level that used to be 8 minutes long, and we found a skip for every single gem in the level. The first one is really simple. We hit our head against this thing, and then lift once, let go, lift again, and it brings us right up to the gem, and it skips like a minute and a half. And the next part gets really weird, so first I'm going to hit this checkpoint to save the fact that I've got the yellow gem. And then I'm going to come up here on top of this arch at the beginning of the level, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit with my tail a trigger by that piece of wood over there, and what that's going to let me do is if I hit it, that should be good, die, respawn, but the game thinks that I was up there already because my tail hit the upper hitbox of that wooden platform, so I should just be able to come in here. Nice. And that saves like easily 2 minutes, possibly more. And finally, the hardest skip in the game, Hurricane Heights red gem skip. I'm going to grab a checkpoint over here for safety, and I'm going to try it twice. And if I don't get it twice after 2 tries, I'm just going to go the normal way, which is pretty slow, so I'd like to avoid doing that if I can. Hopefully, I can also show off why it's the hardest skip in the game, and most of the reasoning behind that is just because of how little space you have to work with on this pillar, and how precise your head position has to be to get up onto this thing here. Nice, first try. So I spent like an hour in practice yesterday. I only got this once, so that's really huge. That saves a lot of time. And here we're just going to corner climb up this rail, grab the red gem, and it's going to show us a cutscene of this moving up because that's how we're supposed to get to the portal. And then here you're supposed to kind of take that board on the left down, but you can just kind of do that. Oh no, don't lift me there. So the last level in the game has also changed a lot in routing in the past. It went from being pretty linear, just doing the level the way it's supposed to be, to having like a shit ton of skips. And it changed a lot over time, which skips we do, how we do them, in what order we get the gems, that kind of thing. So first, I'm not going to go the intended route at all. I'm just going to come down here. And because that wall down there is angled, I should hopefully be able to get over there and pop my head in this corner. Oh no, I'm stuck. There we go. Pop my head in this corner. Move into this corner. Ah, he didn't grab me. So what you're supposed to do is get him to get the bird to think that you're in this airstream. There we go. I'll grab this checkpoint for safety. Yeah. It's a good thing I did that, because that was pretty spooky. So here, normally you're supposed to do some kind of difficult platforming with the wind hitting you over there, but I recently found out that you can just kind of... Oh god, camera. You can just kind of do this on this angled wall and be totally fine. Here I'm going to do something else kind of risky. Normally you're supposed to use the grip button, which I haven't used really at all in the run yet, because it's not really useful. But instead you can just kind of do that, and if you're fast, you can get out without dying. And that's the first gem. And things get really interesting now, because we come back to the beginning, which you would think is horrible, because... oh, I might be dead here. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I have the checkpoint. Which you might think would be horrible, but actually this level is shaped like a giant single helix, and it's got some weird structural stuff going on in this lower part. Let's pick me up, please. There we go. Okay, we're good. So this pillar here on the left can actually be climbed because it's angled. Surprise, surprise. Angled strike again. And using this, we can get up to way further up in the level. Save a whole whack of time. Come over here. Grab the red gem by backtracking and using this angled wall again. The IL record for this is stupidly optimized because it makes the fast cycle here and then does the upper part of this section in one cycle. One cycling the upper part isn't so hard, but getting here on the perfect cycle is really difficult. I wasn't able to get the one cycle. Should be fine though. Can I make it? No. Okay. So here you're just kind of stuck waiting for another cycle. Got a nice boost off of that. Here we can grind on this bamboo, go real fast, get the wind to help us. And then we're gonna try and get on top of here so that we get the perfect wind push right onto the top of the gem. No climbing required. Perfect. There's a chance that hitting that checkpoint can soft lock the game, but we'll see if that happened or not. Time is coming up once I enter this portal, by the way. Once the leaderboard screen pops up. Time. So yeah, that's Snake Pass. Shoutouts to everyone who helped throughout the game and the Snake Pass Discord. It's pretty good. Yeah, if you're interested in running the game or playing the game, it's on Steam, it's on Switch, it's on PS4, it's on Xbox One. Play it. It's really good. It's really short. It's cheap. And I'm Flotsa, and that's been Snake Pass. Stick around for the next run, which is Time Splitters 2.
All right. Thanks for the run, Flotsa. That was really, it's the second time I watch it. It's just as good as the first time. And like I said, this game looks as rewarding and relaxing as it looks frustrating, I guess, at the beginning. But it looks really great. I'm pretty sure some people are going to pick it up at least. How much is the game? Do you know?
I believe it's 26 Canadian dollars.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And I love the art to it, too. So it's, in my opinion, it looks like a pretty interesting game to look into. So I guess me personally, I'll do just that. But thanks again for a great run. It's always a pleasure to have you. And we're actually going to do a quick switch to Time Splitters 2. We're already ready to roll, so stick around.